And a lot of you are gonna instantly get the vision that was behind this choice, and a lot of you are gonna never understand this choice, and I am okay with that.
This is my best friend Stacy. We go way back. Saying goodbye to my BFF Susan. Is that her name?
Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. This week I am continuing on with my living room and entryway makeover. Yeah. And in my last video, somebody commented, what else is left? And for the most part, all of the really big projects are done, and all I have left to do is the fun final detail projects. So this week, I'm going to be finishing up my entryway. Well, actually, the bench at the top of my stairs is kind of a part of my entryway, and I'll be tackling that in my next video. But this week, I am finishing up the area by my front door at the bottom of my stairs. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. Before I get started, I just want to mention I did get my front doormat, and I think it is perfect. I wanted something that had a little bit of pattern, but of course didn't clash with the runners that I went with. And because this is a tone-on-tone pattern, I think it is perfect, and it also really nicely pops off of my front door. So that is done and out of the way, and this week to finish up this entryway, I've got two fun and fairly easy projects planned out, and this first project is very easy. I am just going to be changing out my chandelier. I had a feeling I was going to want to change this chandelier after I painted the railings black and then switched out the spindles for black metal spindles, because it's now just a lot of like black and metal, and I wanted to break all of that up. And I also wanted to like break up the style a little bit and add a statement chandelier. And I was definitely having difficulties picking out what direction I wanted to go with the chandelier. At first, I was picking out very stereotypical chandeliers that you think I would pick out for this room. They were very classically vintage or fake vintage looking glass with like a lot of brushed brass. And the more I looked at those chandeliers, the more I got really bored with those choices. And then all of a sudden, I thought about this one type of chandelier that I have been obsessed with for well over 10 years. And the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then all of a sudden I was researching it and looking for one. I found one, I ordered one, and now it's here. And I think this is gonna look really cool. And a lot of you are gonna instantly get the vision that was behind this choice, and a lot of you are gonna never understand this choice, and I am okay with that. So why don't I just go grab the chandelier, and then I can explain to you why I chose it. Here she is! Yeah, I went with an antler chandelier. And some of you are thinking Miley has lost it. So if you saw my design video, you know from the start I have been trying to incorporate rustic decor elements. I tried with the trim. I was gonna go with like a wood trim, but it wasn't the right fit. I've been trying to go with some rustic touches because that is a style that my husband naturally gravitates towards. And also, I personally really like little rustic decor pieces. I would say my coffee table kind of leans on a rustic side. And then I have a lot of rustic decor pieces on my built-ins. I even have an antler on a book on one of the shelves. And the more I thought about an antler chandelier, the more I started to realize that this room is kind of gravitating towards a style that I really like, which is English countryside or English cottage. I've kind of seen both names used interchangeably. And within the style, you have a lot of the elements that I have now incorporated into this room, which is a lot of molding and trim pieces and decorative trim. Not all the time, but a lot of the time you will see a lot of dark and moody colors, which is obviously something I use a lot throughout my decorating. And then you of course see a lot of vintage decor pieces, and a lot of times the walls are filled with vintage art. And then the other thing and the element that I think this room is missing is more rustic decor pieces. So a lot of times you will also see this in like animal mounts. So you'll see like deer mounts or pheasant mounts. I'm not really into the whole dead animal on a wall thing, but another thing that I saw was antler chandeliers. So the second I started to see like actual rooms with this style, the more I realized that an antler chandelier would go and would look cool. And the final reason I like to incorporate rustic touches to my decor is because I also think it fits my house. We kind of have a fortress of trees around us with animals all over. So hopefully by explaining all of that, I got some of you on my side, and now you see the vision behind this chandelier choice. And I think it's gonna break up the style really nicely. I don't like to stick to like the same thing over and over and over again. So all I'm doing today is changing out this light. I got started on this video a little bit later in the day because I needed to wait for my husband to get home because he's gonna help me change out this light. Like I have mentioned, I'm very afraid of heights. So the idea of being on a ladder, on stairs, not my thing. And my husband's a lot more stable than I am, in more ways than one. So I'm gonna go grab him and let's change out this light. Before we get started, just remember you love me.
Okay, and you're sure this is off?
Yep.
We'll find out. You're sure this is off?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, don't do your stupid pretending like you're getting shocked thing.
I thought about it, but I was afraid I was actually gonna fall if I did that.
So you're really not afraid of heights, huh?
No, and these are not really heights.
I'd be wobbling up there if I were you.
Nobody's swinging from this thing. I should be all right.
You know I love to swing from my chandeliers.
All right, I'm gonna hang from this.
I thought you were serious for a second.
Okay. Oh, there's light.
It's a little low. We can go up, do like 2 more links.
You're done.
Done. We did it. So because I'm now an expert in wiring things, because I did that outlet, you want to stick them in untwisted. You don't want to twist them before you stick them in, and you want to keep twisting this thing until it twists the
What?
wires together.
Were you talking to me?
Yes. Don't pre-twist them.
I'm not pre-twisting them.
Okay, cool. You know, because I'm your resident expert electrician now.
Okay.
And then you want to do L to black, the live wire. I'm here to help with my feet on the ground. Let me know if there's light. I guess I'll probably be able to see, but still, tell me.
It works.
We did it! What do you think?
Cool.
Yay! Amazing. We're done. Good morning, guys. You cannot convince me that chandelier does not look so cool. It's been a few days since I've gotten it hung up, and every time I look at it, I'm just obsessed with it. And this next project is going to be the piece de résistance. Yeah, I took French for 4 years. But it really is going to be the final piece for this entryway to just like totally complete it, and it's gonna look so cool with the chandelier and honestly with everything else. So this next project to finish up this little entryway is a gallery wall. And this was an idea I was tossing around in my design video. The 2 options I was tossing around was either doing a gallery wall that incorporates my TV or doing a gallery wall by my entryway. And obviously that is the choice I went with. In the comments, there was obviously people very opposed to this idea, and then there was people really in favor of this idea. I think one comment that really stuck out to me was thinking it would look too busy in my entryway. And I think had I left my entryway like the way it used to look, it probably would be too busy. But I feel like I've really toned it down and tried to make everything feel very cohesive and not have anything stand out too much so that this gallery wall won't look too busy. There was another comment that stuck out to me. Hold on, it'll come to me in 2 seconds. Oh, the other comment I saw was not liking the gallery wall by my entryway because you wouldn't be able to see it
from my living room. And again, because I changed the spindles, that's not the case anymore. This entryway is obviously much more open. You can see right to my entryway from my living room. Another reason I personally went with this option is because this wall right here is kind of like the final wall in my living room and entryway that has nothing going on. So my TV wall has molding, I've got built-ins, this third wall has like a big bay window, and then this wall having nothing is kind of starting to stand out like a sore thumb. And a lot of times when I create gallery walls, I kind of just like lay frames out on the floor and then just like decide I like the layout and then just start hanging them up willy-nilly. And it always works out for me. But because I am cascading this down the stairs, I feel like I have to be a little bit more strategic about these frames and the placements. So I'm gonna be trying out some like tips, tricks, hacks, and things like that that I've seen online. So let me quickly go grab some stuff that I have been collecting for almost 2 years now. That's the first right there. Okay, yay. Over the last probably like 1.5 to 2 years, I slowly started to collect frames that I liked anytime I saw them and I thought they were a good price. So I'm pretty sure the most expensive frame in here is $7. Most of these are like $2 to $4. Woot woot, we like that. So the first step in creating this gallery wall, I'm sure you guys have seen other DIYers do this. I'm gonna take some brown paper, lay out the frames, and then get them cut out so that I can start piecing together this gallery wall. So as I get these frames cut out, I'm also gonna put a little bit of a description on the piece of paper because some of my frames are close to being the same size, if not the exact same size. I wanna know what frame the brown paper is referring to. So we're gonna call this big 3D frame because it kind of sticks out. So pretty much every frame that does have artwork, I will be changing that. I don't think I am keeping any of the original artwork. Most of my frames don't have artwork. And I also am willing, thanks Moses, and also I am willing to change the colors. Some of these frames are a gold that I don't particularly like, so definitely gonna be changing that. Skinny frame. Guess we should make a pile of frames I've already gotten cut out. Wood frame without glass and cardboard. The one thing I think I am missing from my frame collection is some slightly smaller little filler frames. So also if I have to run out and get like a few 4x6 frames, or I can do that as well. I have so many frames. This is gonna take a while. Last thing for the wall. This isn't a frame, but I think I want to incorporate this gold vintage candlestick holder. I'm not even gonna mention what I think this looks like. Okay, never mind. Now that I have all of my frames in brown paper form, I'm gonna go grab some painter's tape and just start playing around with different layouts. Okay, the problem with my entryway is I've got this big, ugly light switch, but I've got a plan to cover up that light switch and incorporate it into my gallery wall. I'll be working on that tomorrow. First thing, I need to figure out this layout. Okay, covered up. Gosh, okay. River frame. No, don't think I wanna do that. Kind of like the idea of the skinny frame being right here. I feel like that'll be a nice transition into the stairs. my painter's tape is not holding up. So I really want to get these frames hung up. I'm not fully dead set on this exact layout, but there are a few frames, especially through here, that I do love the layout of. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those hung up. Also, like I thought, I definitely want to go ahead and get some filler frames to just fill in a few spots. So this is another hack I saw online to get the perfect hang up spot. I'm going to take a little bit of toothpaste and rub it on where you're supposed to hang it up on the frame, like where the little holder is. And then you stick it against your cardboard and then you pull it back. That seemed to work. Now I'm just gonna grab a nail, nail this in place right where that toothpaste is marked out. And then I can rip this brown paper away and then get it hung up. Yeah, frame 1 complete. Okay, next frame, I've got this long, skinny one. Some toothpaste on here, stick it on here. Yay! Okay, that looks good. So I'm just gonna rinse and repeat the process with some of the other frames that I do like the placement of. This is my best friend Stacy. We go way back. This tape is slowly but surely just failing more and more. My gallery wall layout is officially done. I just ran out and got 4 small frames to finish up this gallery wall. They were kind of the missing little filler frames that I needed for this layout, and I am obsessed. I tried to find a good angle to actually show what the gallery wall cascading down the stairs looks like in real life, so hopefully you guys can see it, but I feel like this was definitely the missing piece to my entryway and the missing piece to my living room. Also, some of the frames I thrifted don't have glass, so I went ahead and got glass so that I can actually put artwork in these frames. And I think what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day is pick out some artwork. I was gonna try to make artwork, but I think for right now, I'm just gonna stick with digital downloads, and then slowly I could like make my own art and switch out the digital downloads. But I also love digital downloads, and also it's a really quick and easy way to get some artwork up on your wall. And I determined that I'm kind of just gonna stick with like a loose nature theme. So landscapes, animal paintings, and I also love the like kind of like botanical illustrations. Once I have all of the artwork picked out, I'm gonna use my iPad to figure out what artwork I want in what frame, and then I'll go ahead and get those ordered, and then we can go through everything tomorrow. So I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys. I have artwork. I think I underestimated how hard it was gonna be to pick out artwork for, I think it was 17 frames, 16 frames, 17 frames, one of those. I can't remember exactly, but it was hard, but also so much fun. There's something so satisfying about piecing together artwork for a gallery wall. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. So once I picked out the artwork, I then had to figure out what frame the artwork was going to go into. And then from there, because some of my frames are older and they're not standard sizes, I had to figure out like what size I needed to order so that the artwork fit into the frame. And I'm just gonna quickly talk through some of the art that I chose and like why I chose it, because I've gotten asked the question like how I find artwork for my gallery walls and for my room. Obviously, I highly recommend Etsy. It is, I think, the easiest and cheapest place to find artwork and digital downloads. So I started off knowing I wanted to do a variety of like bird illustrations. There's a ton of birds in my yard, so I thought bird illustrations kind of fit my house. There is a woodpecker pecking my house right now. And I quickly found a 6-pack of bird illustrations that I liked, and I ended up using 3 of those illustrations. And then from there, I also knew I wanted to do some just classic looking oil painting landscapes. So I found an 8-pack. I knew I wasn't using the full 8-pack. I ended up using, I think, 4 of those paintings. Oh, and also I was hoping I'd be able to find paintings that kind of look like each one of my cats. And luckily I did. I mean, the black cat looks a little skinny for my big panther that is right here. And then from there, there's 2 paintings that I've always loved that are of like women with cats. One's by Renoir. I've loved it for like several years. And then from there, I just picked out other kind of like landscape photos that have a different style than that classic oil painting. That is the artwork. And honestly, when it comes to artwork, if you just pick out things you like, it's gonna go together and you're gonna like it. So what I wanna do now is get this artwork into the frames. There's 3 frames that I'm like almost positive I'm gonna change the color of them. And then there's a few frames where I'm kind of on the fence as to whether I'm gonna change the color. So I think by just getting the artwork in the frames and seeing how everything plays together, I'll be able to figure out what frames I wanna change and how I wanna change them. So let's get to work. I'm starting with the frame that was truly the hardest to pick out artwork for. This frame is a 20 by 6. So I knew that I was gonna have to find artwork and then just cut off a large chunk of the artwork that I chose for it. And I think this is gonna look actually pretty cool, just having like a sliver of this landscape. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Okay, 1 down, 16 or 15. I can't remember how many frames I have, but I have like 15 or 16 more to go. Saying goodbye to my BFF, Susan. Is that her name? Oh, it's my Clyde kitty. Excuse me, Clyde kitty, be a good boy. Don't chase your sister. Hi, buddy. Be a good kitty cat. Excuse me. Okay guys, I'm very glad I went ahead and put the artwork in their frames because it helped me better see like what frames I want to change. And actually 3 frames that I thought I was gonna want to change. Once I got the artwork in there, I loved the colors of the frame with the artwork that I chose for whatever frame. But there are 3 frames that I am gonna be changing the colors to. I'm gonna do the exact same process that I did for my frame TV, which is spray paint the frame black and then use one of these Rust-Oleum metallic accent paints and then paint over that black. The other thing that I'm gonna do after working on the frame colors is take all of the artwork that is kind of has like more of a painted style and do some matte Mod Podge. This is obviously a very popular DIY that I'm sure you've seen a ton of DIYers do. I've done this in previous videos and for previous projects. It just takes your glossy print and makes it look more like an actual painting. So I'm gonna get all of that done and then I'll have one final quick DIY to finish up this gallery wall tomorrow. Don't let any of these leaves fool you. It's like 80 degrees out right now. I am sweating. It is disgusting. Also, you can't tell me this beautiful frame with all this detail wasn't born to be gold or like a brushed brass. I think I got everywhere. So I'm gonna let these frames sit and dry and I'm gonna head inside and work on doing Mod Podge over all of the artwork. Good morning, guys. It is time to finish up this gallery wall. But really quick, these frames that I changed the colors to look so good. This like long skinny one I think is my favorite out of the whole gallery wall. I love uniquely sized frames. They just like lend themselves to like a really cool look. And then you got this like little sliver of a landscape painting. And I just think it looks really cool. So I have one final DIY to finish up this gallery wall. And when I decided I was gonna go with a gallery wall, I realized I had a little bit of a problem and a little bit of an eyesore, and that is this light switch right here. At first, I just thought I would leave it how it is, but the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like that I couldn't put a frame and a picture right here. And then I remembered a DIY that I've seen other people do online to cover up features on their wall that they want to cover up, whether it's a switch, an outlet, a thermostat, and that is basically creating a little cabinet that a picture frame sits on, and the picture is almost like a cabinet door. I guess like that's the best way I can describe it. So before I ever figured out the layout, I picked this picture because I think it's like the perfect size to cover up this outlet. And then I got two 1-inch dowels to create this frame that this picture is going to sit on. I think this is the best way to push this as close to the wall as possible, but a 1-inch dowel will still work with the hinges and the brackets that I got to attach this to the wall. And some of you might think that it would be annoying to have to like open and close a little cabinet door to operate this light switch, but this light switch is barely used. So if I were to use this light switch more often than I do, I'd probably rethink this DIY, but because this is basically a useless light switch, I don't mind covering it up. So what I have to do now is get 4 pieces of this dowel cut down to create this frame that this picture is going to sit on. So I'm not measuring the frame, I'm actually just lining everything up so that these pieces match up exactly how I want them to match up. These are a little long. I'm just gonna cut these down by like the littlest bit. Okay, those fit perfectly. We can head inside and put this frame together. So I'm just sanding down these edges really quickly. So to pop these pieces together, I'm using wood glue and my pneumatic nail gun. If you don't have a nail gun, you can definitely use like L-shaped brackets. I've seen a lot of people do that to keep this DIY beginner friendly. I had to do a little regrouping because I had to think through what I have to do next. So I think the next step is getting the hinges installed. And these hinges are so small, and the screws that came with the hinges are so small. So I'm gonna use 3 hinges, and I am going to drill out a little hole and then use my screwdriver to get these screws in, because there is no way I could just use a drill or my impact driver to screw these little tiny screws in. Okay, that looks nice. I'm gonna repeat the process and then also do the same thing to get the hinge attached to the frame. It's time to get my little picture frame cabinet installed. After I got the hinges attached, I went ahead and painted the frame, and I think I got a really close match to the picture frame. I used just 2 of my Rust-Oleum metallic accent paints, and mixed them together. And I think it's a pretty close match. And then I also went ahead and attached some L-shaped brackets. Those are what I'm gonna use to get this attached to the wall. And I had to be strategic about where I was putting those L-shaped brackets so that I'm not attaching this to the wall where there's any wires for the electricity. So once I get this installed, that will complete this gallery wall and complete my entryway.
And that is it, guys. My entryway is all done. Just don't look at this bench. Pretend it's reupholstered with like a rust striped fabric. I am obsessed with my entryway, like obsessed with it. I find myself just sitting on my couch in my living room, just staring over here at the gallery wall and my antler chandelier. And honestly, like this view right here, like I think you really can see the vision that I was going for with that English cottage style with, you know, things just filling the wall. And we have some nice, like very like classy runners going up the stairs. We've got the dark moody colors. And then of course we have that rustic touch to the entryway. And then it also of course adds a rustic touch to my living room as well. And of course I have walked through the front door, I have walked up the stairs, and I really do not think this gallery wall is too much. If anything, it just like draws your eye right into the room and into my house. And yeah, it was definitely the missing piece to this entryway. I absolutely love it. And of course you can tell that my husband and I have a deep love of cats. Yeah, we do. We love our cats. So I hope you guys liked this video and project and you love this entryway as much as I do. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.